Still reeling after the 3 devastating terror attacks in France, Tunisia and in Kuwait. And this week, British extremists were caught circulating lone wolf manuals online that issued step-by-step instructions on how to make a bomb. Our next guest runs a school program supporting young people who are at risk of being radicalised by terrorists. CEO of the Bully Zero Australia Foundation, Oscar Yildiz, joins us now. Good morning to you. Exactly how are kids being targeted by extremists? Because they really are being so appealing to young people in particular.
Oh, look, I think there's a number of young vulnerable kids that are being isolated and being targeted online, and they're being groomed, Deb. They're being groomed, and we know the statistics at the moment in terms of how many are over there. ISIS have been very successful in being able to, I guess, groom some of these youngsters online, and some of the extremist language that they're using and some of the key Western technologies they're using, such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. They're using a range of other technologies to try and get into the heads of these youngsters.
And it's very hard to counter that too when it's happening in bedrooms, when a lot of parents perhaps aren't even aware of what kids are looking at. How many of the schools that you've visited, both Muslim and non-Muslim, have had kids that have been targeted in this way?
Oh, look, there are kids as young as 8 that are being targeted, and recently at one of the Muslim schools, I mean, we go out and deliver unfunded, must I say, no government support. We go out to schools and deliver programs, but in particular to Muslim schools. And recently, I think the youngster was about 9 years old, and he came up to me and said, "Look, I've been sent some pretty inappropriate content recently," and that's obviously he's spoken to his parents, and that's some alarm bells have been ringing. But parents definitely need the training as much as the youngsters do. And I think I use the analogy of when I go out to schools and when I go out to speak to parents that you wouldn't leave your youngsters in a park and pick them up 6-7 hours later. But unfortunately, some parents have done that with social media. Their kids are in bedrooms for hours and hours and hours, and they absolutely have no idea what they're actually doing online.
So what are the warning signs for parents to look out for?
Oh, look, I mean, if someone's sharing content, or they're downloading content that is of extremist nature, or they're in their rooms for a huge amount of time, or they're forwarding information that might be of extremist nature. If they're isolating themselves, if they're moving away from family and friends, if they're arguing with family and friends over issues that might have that sort of extremist, environment to the discussions, and if they're showing key signs of I guess, if there's material lying around the home, or even lying, if there's material on social media platforms that they're using, that would be a key indication. And if there are some of those youngsters that have in fact isolated themselves from their normal family and friends, and that's a pretty good indication that there's some alarm bells are ringing there.
It's really difficult though, because a lot of the behaviours that you're describing are simply the behaviours of your average teenager. That a lot of it is just teenagers going into that stage of their life, as it were. It's hard to know whether it's dangerous or just normal behaviour.
You're right there, because I mean, a lot of people are comparing the grooming that's being done by ISIS to what pedophiles do with youngsters. So how do you differentiate that between what extremists are doing and what others, child predators, are doing online? I guess it's the content. It's the content that's being shared. I mean, if there's some violent extremist content there, then that would suggest that there's something wrong. But it's actually illegal. It's illegal under Australian law for anybody to use intimidating, offensive or discriminative language, or even videos, or it might be any content. For example, making a bomb. I mean, if there are some filtering softwares parents can use, but if somebody as young as 9 is in fact online, and we've got reports of this, youngsters as young as 9 are in fact going on to some networks and some internet sites doing that. And curiosity is one thing, but if someone's on there for a huge amount of time, hours every single night of the week, then there's something not right there.
Yeah, well, I think, as you say, education is key to this, and good luck with the program, because it seems to be effective, and let's hope you can get some funding to back it up and roll it out further.
Thank you, Deb.
Oscar, thank you so much. Cam.